need to know is what is this software testing here. So software testing is a process to verify and validate the software to ensure that the software application is working as per the customer requirements. That means whatever the requirements which we have been received and whatever the application it is being developed. So both should be same here. Guys. So why we need to do testing here? So what we will ensure here? We will be ensuring that the application is defect free before going to the release. That means everything should be here resolved guys, before going to release. So we will be ensuring that the application should be defect free here. And why we are conducting this testing? So to find the defects or bugs in the software application here. So what will happen guys if you are not doing the testing and releasing the product to live here? Okay, so if you are not performing testing and if we are releasing that product to the live, then end user means who is using that product may come with the bugs here, which will cause damage to the organization as well as the team which we need developed here. So we need to say that testing should be made mandatory in all the industry here, guys. Okay, and what is this manual testing now? Okay, so manual testing is nothing but, guys, it is a process in which application has to be tested manually without any help of automation tool is called as manual testing. Okay, guys, so this is the small introduction to the manual testing here. So in our training, what are the topics which we will be seeing that I will be explaining you now, guys? Okay, so coming to here, first we will be going to the concept introduction. So exactly we will be coming to know what is this software testing and why it is necessary and what is quality, what is verification, what is validation, and what is the difference between them, and what is quality assurance, and what is quality control, and what is the difference between them, and what is this manual testing, and what are its advantages, and what are the disadvantages of it. That all concepts we are going to get in this introduction part here, guys. Okay, once this is done, we will be moving to the concept called software development life cycle here. So what is this means? How a software is coming to live here means from starting to going to live. So what are the different phases involved? That all things we will be going to do in this topic, guys. Okay, so in this first we will be working with the phases. So this phases means, guys, whatever the development they may follow, the phases which involved will be the same here, guys. Different organizations will follow different types of life cycles there. But whatever the phases, that will be the same here. So here mainly we are having five phases, guys. So first is the requirement analysis here. Requirement analysis. So in this, what we are going to do here, guys. So in deep, we will be going to see. In this, we will be just getting the requirements and what else we are doing, that things we will be seeing in this phase here, guys. Once this is done, next phase will be design phase here, guys. Okay. So in this, we will be preparing the design here. Again, this design is classified into two types, that is low level design, high level design. So what are the different types followed in that we will be seeing in this phase here. Next is the after designing, we will be doing the development, or we can say here coding phase. Anything is fine here, guys. Okay. So what we are doing in this coding phase is, once we are completing with the both above phases, based on those documents, we will be developing our code here. So that will be coming under this coding phase here, guys. Okay, once coding is done, then we next phase is testing phase. So here the testing team is involved here, guys. So in this phase, we will be testing the application in all possible ways here, guys. Okay, once testing phase is done, at last we are having one more phase, that is deployment or maintenance phase here. So in this, once the product is being released, so whatever the issues or escalations we are getting, that will be handled and maintained in this phase here, guys. Okay, so these are the phases involved in the software development life cycle here, guys. Okay, so we will be going thoroughly with each and every phase here, and exactly who are involved in each and every phase very deeply here, guys. Okay, once our phases are done, then we will be discussing on different software development life cycle models here. So next we will be discussing on the models. So like we will be, there are many models guys outside, but generally what are in use now, that models we have been taken and that we will be explaining you here. So like we are having waterfall model, or we are having V model, which we can call as verification and validation model, and we are having agile model. So at present, like more or the people are going to this agile model. So what is this methodology? Everything that we will be covering here. And also we will be seeing what is this prototype model and spiral model. So what are exactly their models, guys, and exactly how they are following each and every phase, and which application is suitable for which model. So these all things we will be explaining here, guys. Okay, and also we will be explaining with example here, so that you can understand what types of applications that these models will applicable here. Okay, so this is about the software development life cycle, about its phases and its models here, guys. Okay, once we know about this development life cycle and phases and models here, next we will be going to the concept of test design techniques here. Test design techniques. Okay, so these test design techniques are classified into two types here, guys, for us. So one is static technique. Static technique, and second one is dynamic technique, guys. Okay. So what is this static technique here? Static technique means what all the types of testings which we are performing before execution will come under this static technique, guys. Okay, so whatever the testing which we are performing before execution is nothing but static technique. So here there are many types of techniques, guys. So we are having here, first is reviews. So reviews, and again these reviews are classified into two types. They are like formal review or informal reviews here. So formal reviews are considered as inspections and informal reviews are considered as walkthroughs, guys. Walkthroughs. Apart from this, we are having one more review also that is called technical reviews. Okay, guys. So these are all the different techniques which comes under the static part. And this static technique will be done in the verification process here. Okay, guys. So what is this review and who are all doing this and what is this formal review and what is this informal review and what is inspection, what is walkthrough, everything we will be taking under this topic here. Okay, once this is done, we will move to the dynamic technique here. So in the dynamic technique, guys, what it is means, this technique is done while executing the code. That means while execution, whatever the testing we are doing, that comes under the dynamic testing here. Okay, so there are different types of techniques involved here. So what are they? So like we are having unit testing, and we are having integration testing and system testing. So these all comes under the dynamic testing techniques here, guys. So what is this unit testing and what is integration testing? What is system testing? That we will be going in deep in this topic here, guys. And also I will be providing you the example. So what is unit testing, how it is defined, and we will be doing that. These all things we are going to discuss in this test design techniques here. And this dynamic testing is done during the validation process here. Okay, so once this is completed, guys, we will move to the next concept, that is white box testing. White box testing here. So what is this white box testing? So white box testing is nothing but testing the internal working of the system, or simply we can say that source code here, guys. And why we are performing this testing means to find the missing logics in the code. And exactly what is the main motto of it? So here we will be providing the pre-selected input values and we will be checking the outcomes for pre-selected outputs there. So whatever the values we are giving and whatever the outputs we are getting, that we will going to be checked here. And also if there are having any missing logics here, that we are going to check using this white box testing. Okay, guys. So generally developers will do this, guys, but there is a small role of test engineer in this testing also. So that means here both developer and testing team will be doing this white box testing. So exactly what is the role of the test engineer in white box, that we will be seeing in this, guys. And also there are many techniques by using this white box testing. So like we are having statement coverage testing. Statement coverage. So in the name, it is saying statement coverage. That means we will be seeing whether every statement is being executed at least once here. So that we are going to calculate, and we are having a formula to that, everything that we will be going in deep in this topic here, guys. One statement is done. So other type of technique is branch coverage testing. So branch coverage testing here. And next is path coverage testing. And at last, we are having loop coverage testing. So, what are all these techniques and how they are going to perform? Everything we will be going deeply in this topic, guys. And also with example, I will be explaining you. Okay, guys. Once we are done with the white box testing here, next we will be going to the concept black box testing. So black box testing is nothing but, guys, it is a functional testing here. Testing team will be involved in this black box testing. So in this, whatever the application we are getting, that we will be testing against the requirements here, guys, to find the expected outputs here. Whatever the application we are getting, so we will be testing against it to the requirements which we are being given here. So there are many types of techniques involved doing this black box testing here. So what are they here is, one is the equivalence class partitioning, ECP. We'll call it as ECP. That means equivalence class partitioning. So in that, whatever the input domain we are getting, that will be splitted into equal partitions of data here. So for example, let us consider if I want to test 1000 here. So 1 to 1000 I can't write. So I will be splitting them like 1 to 100 one class, 100 to 1 or 200 one class. So like this. So they will be split, and here they will be finding the test cases here. So that is the equivalence class partitioning here. Okay. And we will go much deep while doing this concept here. And the next type of technique is we are having here boundary value analysis. So we call BVA, boundary value analysis. So exactly at the boundaries, as the name is saying, boundaries, that means at the edges of the classes, we will be finding this, guys. Okay, so what is this and how we are going to do? Here, what we are going to find here. Here we will be finding what is the upper boundary and lower boundary. How to find that? Everything we will be discussing in this concept here, guys. Okay, once this is done, so there is one more type of technique, that is cost effective graph. So cost effective graph. So it is the relation between the requirement here. So what is the cost and how it is caused by which effect here? So that we will be discussing, guys. And once this is done, we will be moving to decision table. Decision table is nothing but, guys, whatever the thing we are doing in the cost effective graph, that will be considered, that will be converted into the tabular format here. In this, each column and each row will be considered as a test case here. So how to do that? That all things we will be going in deep in this technique here, guys. So once this is done, then we are having here state transition techniques. State transition techniques here. So in this, each and every transition, that means whatever the input we are giving and what is to that flow, each and every state will be transferred based on the data is being changed. Suppose, for example, one state will be changed to another state due to the change of the transitions between the data here. So what it is exactly that we will be going more deep into this topic here, guys. Okay, so like this, there are many types of techniques involved in this black box testing. So we will be going even deep and even we will go with an example. Okay, so this is about the black box testing techniques here, guys. Once this is done, then we will be going to one more concept, that is gray box testing here. So gray box testing is nothing but it is the combination of both black box and white box testing here, guys. It is also called as transient testing. So mainly this will be focuses on state-based applications or like architectural diagrams here. So exactly what is this gray box testing and what which applications are suitable, everything we will be going in deep with an example, guys. Okay, once these types of testings are done, now we will be moving to the concept called levels of testing here. So this levels of testing is classified into two types, guys. So one is functional testing, the other is non-functional testing here. So what is this functional testing? So here we will be checking how functionally our application is being here. That means whatever the application we are getting, that we will be checking against the requirements here. And we will be checking whether it is as per expected or not here, guys. Okay, and here in the functional testing, we are having several different types of testings available here, guys. So what are they now? In the functional testing of we are having like unit testing. So what is this unit testing and why we need to perform this with example that we will be explaining you here, guys. And next, after unit testing will be done, then we will be moving to here integration testing. Integration testing. So what is this integration testing? And there are different types of integration techniques here. There are four types of different integration testings here. So like first will be the Big Bang Big Bang integration. Then we are having top down approach. And we are having bottom up integration. Then we are having mixed. Okay, guys. So these are the four types of integration testings we are having. So exactly what is them and when we are using that with an example, I will be explaining. So here we are having four types, guys. So Big Bang approach, top down approach, bottom up approach, and mixed approach here. So exactly what are they that we will be going to discuss in deep in this topic here. Okay. Next, once the integration is done, then we will be moving to system testing here. So system testing, exactly what is this system testing that we will be going in deep in this topic here, guys. Once system testing is done, then we will be moving to user acceptance testing here. So we call it as user acceptance testing. So Who is performing this user acceptance testing? Only tester, or who can perform this user acceptance testing? That we will be seeing in this topic, guys. Again, this UAT is divided into two phases here. So one is alpha testing and one is beta testing. So alpha testing means, guys, we can say that it is the final testing which is done within the company here. And beta testing is the testing which we are doing at the customer place. Is nothing but beta testing. So what is this alpha and what is this beta? Exactly, we will be going deep. Okay, guys, in this concept. Once this user acceptance testing is done, then we will be doing the regression testing. Regression testing. So in that only we will be covering what is retesting here. So exactly what is the regression testing? What is retesting here? So what is this regression testing means, guys? Regression means re-execution. So testing the current build along with the previous build. So the changes made in the previous build might affect the current build here. So what it is exactly, that we will be going into the deep in this concept here. And retesting means once you have provided a bug, developer will be fixing that, right? So again, you will be getting for doing the test again. So what testing you are doing now, that will come as the retesting here. So exactly what it is when we are going to do, and exactly what is the difference between regression and retesting, that we are going to see with example in this topic here, guys. Okay, once this is done, we will be seeing what is smoke testing and what is sanity testing and what is the difference between them, and when we need to perform smoke and when we need to perform sanity. So thus we will be seeing in this topic, guys. So these all are the techniques which we will be coming under this functional testing. So first we will be starting with unit testing. So once unit testing is done, we will be moving to the integration testing. Again, this integration, we are having four types here. So what is that, guys? One is big bang approach, top down, bottom up, and mixed. Once the integration is done, then we will perform system testing. Once system testing is done, then we will be going to UAT. That is nothing but user acceptance testing here. Once that is done, now we will be checking regression, retesting, and smoke or sanity. When we need to perform this smoke and when we need to perform this sanity, everything indeed we will be discussing in this concept phase. Once we have completely done our functional testing, then now we will be moving to the non-functional testing part here. So non-functional testing. So non-functional testing means, guys, so apart from this functional testing, so we will be now considering ourselves as the end user and we will be testing different types of testing. Okay, so first we will be measuring the performance here. So what is this performance testing? So performance means it will be depending on several internal characters here, like speed, it will be there, scalability, it will be there, stability, it will be there. So how fast we are getting, how speed is our application, how stable is our application. These all factors will come under this performance here. And this performance will be depending on several sub-testings here, guys. So what are they? So this performance, if we want to calculate, that will be based on the following types of testing here. So like load testing. So load testing. So under specific load, how the application performing, that we are going to test in the load testing here. And load. Then we will be going with stress testing. So if the application is withstanding more than the load, so whatever the load it is supported, more than the load we will be providing here. And also we will be finding what is the maximum load with this withstand the application here. That we are going to check under this stress testing. And we are having volume testing. That is completely related to the database here. So how if we provide large amount of data and how it is working. And if we delete the same large amount of data, how it is working. So that we are going to check here. And we are having soak testing or endurance testing. It's nothing but if we are working more time on the same application or same thing, how it is behaving, whether it is having any changes, whether you are finding any difference. That we will be checking under this endurance testing. And at last, we are having spike testing. So it is also same as the volume guys. But here what we will be doing is exactly we will be suddenly incrementing the data, suddenly decrementing the data here. So what exactly we are doing that all things we will be going in deep while we are discussing about this topic. And also I will be providing you with an example here guys. So this all types of testings we will be doing and we will be calculating the performance of the application. Okay, guys. Once the performance is done, then we will be moving to security. Security testing here. So in the security testing, generally we will be seeing how secure is our application, right? So how secure is our application, whether we will be seeing like authentication concepts, authorization, integrity, confidence. So these all things we are going to check here, guys. So like what are the different areas where we will be finding this security here, like network security. We will be checking network security and software security, client side application security, server side application security. So everything that we will be discussing, guys. Okay, in this security testing concept here. Once we are done with the security here, then we will be going with compatibility. Compatibility. That means compatibility means here we will be comparing guys with other things like in the browser level we can say, hardware level we can say, software level we can say, platform level we can say, in the connection level we can say. Okay guys, for example, let us say that we need to compatible with the browser level. So whatever the application we are testing like in Chrome, that we will be testing in the Firefox, that only we will be testing in the Edge. So how it is behaving, that we will see in the browser level. Suppose if you give it OS level, that means you will be testing the same application in Windows, Mac, Linux. So like that. So we can do the comparing in different ways, like hardware, like software, like browsers, operating system. So like this guys. So we can compare the things here. So once we will done the security, we will go with the compatibility here. So like this, there are many types of testings guys. Like scalability testing is there for us, localization is there, internalization is there, and we are having testing is there, cookies testing is there, installation testing is there. So these all things we will be going step by step, and with an example I will be providing you guys. Okay, so once this non-functional testing is done, then we will be moving to the next concept, that is software testing life cycle. Software testing life cycle here. As development is having life cycle, guys, testing is also having life cycle. Here also different organizations the cycle may be differ here. That means they may follow different life cycle, but whatever the phases involved will be the same here. So what are the different phases that are involved in the software testing life cycle? Now we will be discussing that case. So here coming to the phases, the first phase is requirement analysis. So guys, in this phase, we will be given the requirements and we will be understanding that requirement here. And if you are not understanding, we will go to the PA or project manager or the development or whatever it may be. Our main aim is in this phase, we need to get understand the requirements. Once we have understood the requirements, we will be making it a document and sending this as an acceptance criteria to the customer there. Okay. So in the requirements, the main thing is we need to understand the requirement here. Okay. Once we understood the requirement, the next phase we will be going is test planning. So very important concept here. Test planning means here guys, we will be preparing the test plan here. So test plan is nothing but it is a strategic document which will be prepared all the test activities which we are going to perform. That all things we will be describing in this test plan here guys. Okay. Once this test planning is done, then we will be moving to the next concept guys. That means next phase. Guys, remember in this test planning, I will be explaining you how to write a test plan also. Okay. So next, once the test planning phase is done, now we will be moving to next phase, that is test case development. So test case development here. So in this, whatever the requirement which we are getting, so based on the documents, we will be writing our test cases here. That means we will start writing the test cases and prepare the test data here. Okay. Now, once test development case is done, so next phase is environment setup here. So environment setup. So guys, we are not involved in this phase. Whatever environment we are getting, in that we will be executing guys. So environment means what here? Whatever the place we are performing the testing is nothing but environment. But we are not involved here guys. Development or the organization will be involving in this and they will be providing us the environment. Okay. Once this is done, so environment is set up, then now we will be performing the next phase, that is test execution. So in the test execution phase, whatever the test cases we have developed in the above phase, that we will be executing here guys. Okay, so in the test execution, we will be executing our test cases. So how we will be executing here? So we will be getting the SRS ready and we will be getting the test cases. We will be checking what is the expected result and what is the actual result. And if both are getting matched, we will be saying it is passed. If both are getting different, like not matched, then we will be saying it is failed. So what is this expected and what is this actual means guys? Expected means from the requirements we will be getting the expected result. And actual result means while execution, whatever the result we are getting, that comes under this actual result. If both expected and actual are getting matched, then we will be saying it is a pass here. If both are getting not matched, then we will be saying it is a failed test case. And that failed test case we will be making in a log and we will be tracking in the tracker here. Okay, so this is about the test execution phase here, guys. Next is the last phase in the testing life cycle, that is test closure. So it is a document, guys, where we will be mentioning how many test cases are being passed, how many fail, and a number of cycles are there. So everything related to the testing, we will be making a document and we will be sending here. So these are the different phases involved in software testing life cycle. So what are the phases, guys? Requirement analysis. Then we will be taking test planning. Once the plan is done, we will be going to develop our test cases. So test case development. And once the test cases are developed, we need an environment to run our test. So that is the test environment setup. And once we got the environment, now we can execute the test cases. So test execution is the next phase. Once the execution is completed, now at the last phase we are going to do is test closure, which is like a document. We will be providing everything, whatever we are done in the testing, that we will be providing as a document here, guys. Okay, so this is about the software testing life cycle. So more deep, we will be going each and every phase and who are all involved, what we are doing in each phase, that we are going to do in this topic, guys. Okay, next topic is, once we have done this, we will be checking bug life cycle, or we can call the same as defect life cycle here. So exactly what is this bug, and finding the bug to closing the bug. So what are the different states it been moved, that we will be getting in this bug life cycle or defect life cycle. So there are several states like new, assign, open, test, and deferred, rejected, duplicate. So there are many states here. So exactly in each state, how it is getting to the another state, that we will be checking under this concept bug life cycle, that we will be going in deep during that topic there. Once this is done, now we will be going to learn about the topic RTM. That is nothing but requirement traceability matrix. So what is this? So this is a document here which specifies that for every requirement, at least we are having one test case. That means it will be mapping our requirements to the test cases here. So there are many advantages by using this document here. So nowadays, some organizations are still following this RTM. So we need to have an idea what is this RTM here. So that's the reason we need to know about it, guys. So here advantages is we can know which test case is automated, which is done manual. And if any requirement is changed, we can directly go to that requirement, because for every requirement we are mentioning the test cases, and also we can find which requirements has test cases and which requirements does not have test cases here. So these all things we will be get to know by using this document here. So what is the main use of it is, it will be mapping our requirements to the test cases here, and ensuring that for every requirement at least one test case is being done here. Okay, so that is about the RTM. We will go much deep when we go to this concept here. Okay, once this is done, at last we are having what is a test case and what is test scenario. So what is this scenario and what is this test case here, guys? So set scenario is nothing but what to be tested. That means for a given requirement, first we will find the scenario. That means whatever we are going to test, that we will be finding here. So what to test is nothing but a scenario here, guys. So what is this test case? This test case will be derived from the test scenario. That means how to test is nothing but a test case. How to test the scenario is nothing but a test case here. So there are several techniques, guys, to write the test cases here. So that we will be discussing under this topic here. Okay, guys. So these all are the topics we are going to do in our training here. Okay, these all are the theoretical parts here, guys. So this all comes under the theory here. So once these complete things are done, then we will be taking a real-time project here. And here we will be doing our manual testing in a tool here. I will also explain you tool Azure DevOps. So in Azure DevOps, how to achieve manual testing, I will be explaining you guys. That too, I will be taking a real-time project and I will say you how to do the manual testing here. So we will be taking Azure DevOps tool here. Azure DevOps tool. In that, we will be performing manual testing here, guys. So in DevOps, we can achieve this manual testing in two ways. That is one through bots and one more through Azure test plans. Okay, guys. So exactly we can achieve the manual testing in two ways in Azure DevOps first. So one is bots, one is test plan. So I will be explaining you how to work with these bots and also how to work with this test plans here. Okay, guys. So these all things we are going to get under our training here. And it is about 15 days duration. That's it, guys. In the span of 15 days, we will be getting all these concepts along with the live project in the okay, guys. So if you are having any questions,